3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for August 9th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Take-Two keeps pointing at the GTA 6 in 2025 sign to keep investors from worrying. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Tamoor Hussain, everybody. Tam, how are you doing?
I'm here, and I'm randomly getting blinded by my lights.
That light is blasting you. Is it just turning on by itself? Is it haunting?
Yeah, so this is weird. Like, these lights, they have like a channel and a group and that kind of stuff. And originally, when I lived with Chastity on the East Bay, she had the exact same lights. And obviously, we were both working at GameSpot at the same time, so she'd be doing things. And sometimes I would know when she's about to film something because my lights would randomly turn on because she's like sharing channel.
Right, they're all turning on the same network.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen now, but somehow it still happens. So maybe there's someone in this building that is making content at 8 a.m. in the morning on a Friday. That's
incredible. Also, this is the problem with these internet of things. I mean, is it possible that like Chastity still has like access to it or something, and it's like turning it on for herself or something, and she doesn't know it's turning on yours? That's incredible.
She lives very far away from me, so good luck to her. I hope because it's not even like internet enabled. It's just like if I wanted to turn it on and off, I have to use like an old school remote.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay,
yeah, it's an old one.
See, I thought that's how the GameSync worked, and no, that GameSync is connected to the internet. So Dan had the power, and we had to unplug it and do a curse on it to prevent it from attacking me anymore. Dregs Day, Tam, we're here. It's Friday. I had a busy weekend last weekend, mostly just having Dan Reichert in your home. You just at a certain point, you got to just get that funk out. So I'm looking forward to a quiet weekend. How about you?
Yeah, I am looking forward to a quiet weekend. I hope to. Got at least one activity planned, which involves going. Yeah, which is going to be fun. I'm going to a Smash room. You ever heard of Smash rooms?
No, but I can imagine.
It's not a room where two people smash.
Okay, it's all right. Never mind then. I was wrong.
It is a room where 6 people smash.
Okay. That's even better.
And by smash, I mean they go in there and they're given a giant hammer and they just get to destroy everything.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
If we had an office that we did giant bomb stuff in, I would occasionally ask us to like build a rage room or something. A smash room. Yeah. That's okay. That sounds fantastic. Are you expecting catharsis? Is this like you're gonna go in there and it's gonna feel good?
Catharsis.
Yeah,
it's hopefully gonna feel good. Like it's also like half an hour slot. So gonna go there, smash for half an hour, great stamina, and then just like get some food, and then come back, and then hopefully not leave my apartment for the rest of the day.
What are like the safety protocols? Do you have like goggles and stuff you have to wear?
I think so. They give you like a full array of safety equipment, and like they kit you out with it. And it's funny because like you can select different packages, and each new package has like each package has like a variety of different like things you can smash. And it can be like, oh, you want to pay for the vinyl add-on where you get to smash loads of vinyl.
Oh, fun.
We can add that. Yeah, it's like I think the one that we have has like at least one games console.
Oh, really? Okay. Well. Oh, the Tam's back. We lost you for a second. Yeah, you froze for 3 seconds, and then you apparently re-entered the Discord, and it did that. I did my Law and Order arrival. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's wild. I don't know. Maybe. So my Smashaholics package includes 40 plates.
Okay, that's good.
4 premium electronics, gaming console, monitor, printer. 4 smaller electronics, office phone, keyboards, speakers, furniture, tractor tire, Bluetooth speakers to play your music along with all the safety equipment required.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. And all those things are things that I would be like, I don't mind destroying any of this stuff. People are like, I like destroying a console. I'd be like, I don't know if I have the heart to do that. Even like vinyl, even if it's like, I'm trying to think like what kind of vinyl. Like I'm gonna imagine maybe old like public domain instructional records or something like that. I guess I wouldn't feel too bad, but still something about me would just like it would give me a little bit of the heebs.
I imagine you wouldn't even know because they would probably take it out of the sleeve, right? Because if you're smashing, you don't want to be in the sleeve.
Right.
But if it was a console, you could smash with a sledgehammer. Which one would?
Yeah, I mean, I do know the way that vinyl breaks is pretty satisfying, so I would probably feel pretty good about that. Now, if I had to smash a console, if I had to smash a console, what would I smash? That's tough. I guess I would want to see how an Atari Jaguar, or like what it looks like inside, because it looks like it's mostly hollow. Looks like I want to see the inside. I want to see its guts.
I'm smashing a Nintendo 64, like easy.
Fine. Right.
Easy. That thing looks like it would smash really well.
It looks like it'd be hard to smash. Actually, it looks sturdy.
I would smash a Nintendo 64 console out of curiosity. I would smash a Nintendo 64 controller out of destined rage because I continue to maintain that it's the worst console ever created by humankind.
I like that controller.
Followed closely behind by the GameCube controller. And I think that if you are like, oh, I love the GameCube controller, I think it's a fantastic controller. Shut up.
I don't have to say anything because you will now be attacked online for saying that.
I don't care. I don't care.
There you go.
Know what? I get attacked for much worse than that.
Oh, that's good. That's a good feel. I'm holding the N64 controller.
Dude,
in case you're wondering why I'm making
controllers don't need to have a dick. Controllers don't need to have a dick.
I mean, I don't need it. But
I don't need buttons on my GameCube controller to be 8 different sizes.
Don't mind the
tripod. I don't need it. Why is there one fat button, one small button,
6 face
one
buttons.
button that's like a fucking little semicircle, and then another one?
We used to have everything. We used to have 6 face buttons. On? That was pretty good.
I'd fucking Fisher Price ass controllers.
Yeah, okay, well that's a fair criticism actually. What other thing before we get everything? We're gonna have a shirt. The Giant Bomb esports jersey is going to be joining the store pretty soon. I've decided I'm going to. Yes, he's going to have a Vegeta there. Here it is. There's the shirt, everybody. There you go. This will be up for sale soonish. I took a picture so we could put it in the store and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll have this.
If you want to buy my worn Vegeta shirt, I won't wash it. Just let me know.
Yeah, meet Tam at the 7-Eleven in the Bay Area. Yeah. This is
that's the one that you're wearing is really nice. So I should have worn my one.
It's a lot of fun. I really like. We tried a couple different variations on it. This one we were really happy with the coloring schemes. We kind of feel like red and black, pretty close to the official colors of Giant Bomb. The swirly eye logo looks really good on here. Also, I really like the way this feels. It is light, but it's not so light that it like hugs my body. And I have such like touch sensitivity issues that I was kind of worried about that. And I don't have any problem with that. So pretty happy with the results here.
I would say if you're ordering it, maybe order one size above you think.
That's right. That's exactly
snug.
right. Yes,
it's slightly snug.
I think I'm a double XL usually. And this is kind of hugging my tummy a little bit. So kind of just keep that in mind. Oh,
I can't deal with that. If anything's hugging my tummy, I'm having an emotional breakdown.
Yep, exactly. I'll just go to my mommy. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with GTA 6 remains set for fall 2025. And yes, I put this first because GTA 6 does well with SEO. This is from Eddie McCoo at GameSpot. As part of Take-Two's latest earnings briefing, the company reconfirmed that Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 6, one of the most highly anticipated games in the coming years, remains on track for release in fall 2025. A slide in the company's earnings release states that the game has not shifted. A slide, as in like they were showing this to investors. Basically, every Rockstar Games title over the past decade has been delayed beyond its originally announced date. But as of yet, GTA 6 has not yet slipped, at least not in terms of publicly announced dates. There was rumors that it could come out this year or like early in 2025. But yes, there's been a lot of speculation that GTA 6 could be delayed due in part to Rockstar's enforcement of a return to office policy. But the game, as of now, remains on track. There were some people who like were going to leave the studio because they didn't want to go back to the office. The ongoing video game actor strike, which cites concerns over AI, does not currently affect GTA 6. At least that's according to Strauss Zelnick in a couple of interviews and in conversations with investors. They're saying this in part because it probably is accurate right now. Doesn't mean it won't slip. Probably still could slip into 2026 pretty easily. This is Rockstar. And at the same time, they're out there saying this because, the earnings are down a little bit for Take-Two. The things are slowing down for their sales. They're not in trouble or anything like that, but I think they want to keep investors with the expectation that GTA 6 is right on the horizon, so you want to stay invested now, because as it gets closer, the GTA stocks the Take-Two stocks just going to be worth more because GTA 6 will be even closer. So they're saying this. I don't know how much I fully am on board with believing it. Buy or sell. Are you buying this or are you selling it, Tam?
I am selling it. Wait, no, am I buying? I'm selling it. Yeah, yep. I'm selling it.
Yeah.
I think there's a very good chance that they could just stick to that release date. I think that I think it will get delayed. I don't think it will get delayed a wild amount, maybe a few weeks, maybe at most a month. And I feel like if I was the maker of GTA and I knew that I could get away scot-free with a delay every single time and have zero pushback, and in fact, it be potentially an uptick in my PR for this game, because I would do it every single time. Because most people, when GTA gets delayed, they're like, "Excellent, make it better, make it even better, good stuff, keep at it." Whereas everyone else, every other game would get delayed, and people are like, "Kill them all." So I feel like they right now are going to be like, "This is when we're coming out. Please, invest, etc., don't go anywhere." And then closer to the time, they'll be like, "Hey, we have made the wildest game. You have no idea how wild this game is. We just need a few more weeks to make the horse testicles swing a bit better."
Right. And then everyone's like, "Wait, they're in here too?"
Yeah,
and they say, "Yes, they're
we
bigger
added
than
horse
last time."
testicles to every single vehicle in this game.
I was about to make the same joke, but I'm like, "Oh wait, I think Tam's gonna do it. I'm gonna stop." Game development's not linear, right? So they've taken a long time on this game, but that has sort of no bearing on so they've spent this much time, therefore they've had enough time to get this game complete for the date as they approach the end, new issues will arise because it's messy and they've discovered things late, and the polish that they try to do runs into issues, and they create new bugs, I suppose. Yeah, it's not linear. So as they get closer to the end, things will pop up and cause new problems. So I wouldn't be surprised if, again, we get some sort of delay. I would even think that early 2026 isn't out of the question, even March 2026. But I agree, it won't be much longer than that. We're not talking about going from holiday 2025 to holiday 2026. I think they want to avoid that by all costs. And again, they were originally expecting this game out this fiscal year, they didn't say that publicly, but based on what they were saying to investors on how much money they were expecting to make this fiscal year, they were thinking this game could come out by March of 2025. So a March 2026 release date, I think, would be that full year delay already, without them having to make it feel like a full year delay to most people who weren't paying attention to that. But yeah, I also agree with you that I expect them to have a lot of little technical things to build up and talk about. And you're making a face. What's up?
I just watched my cat shit on the ground.
Oh, kitty. Don't do that.
Hey, stop that. Get away from there.
Oh, is this moon salt? What's the moon presence?
This is Miko.
Oh, Miko.
I think she was in the litter box. She took a shit and then came out and was like, "Oh no!" So she did a butt scoot. Now there is. I need to get rid of this.
Yeah,
nugget.
no, you got to. I understand. Yes, powerful stench from cat poop. Everybody, I don't know if you're aware of that. They can bury it, and it's fine. If they don't do that, it's a real problem. My cat has long hair. And he'll go in there, and he's afraid of his own bowel movements. So he kind of buries it real quick, and then he sprints out of the room where the litter box is as fast as he can. And sometimes he does not quite finish the job, and it gets stuck to his long fur, and so he'll like leave he'll leave the dingleberries around the house for me to find occasionally, which is a fun game. That's a fun time. Cats are great. Cats are also really weird, but that's what I like about them. GTA 6, we can probably expect to still see this game on the schedule that they were originally meaning to show it off. We got that one trailer. We'll probably get some update on it here in the next 6 months. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if like we get to like summer of next year, and that's when they really start showing it off in earnest. All right, you're gonna survive. That's you got to get that hazmat suit on.
She looks so guilty. She looks so sad as well. She looked at me. I was like,
they have real shame about that stuff. Like, yeah. All right.
Let's see. Go. Remember when that? Do you think that person leaked that GTA 6 like video, and everyone was like, "Wow, the graphics suck so bad." Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so what do you think that happened to that leaker? Do you think he's dead?
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, if you like go into their office and they have like decremental like skulls somewhere, one of those is real, and it's his.
Oh, it's like just that person hanging upside down, and it's like dripping blood, and it's going into like one of those like fucking weird floor ritual things, and then that underneath it,
that blood then goes into like the development PC for like the remaining Hauser, and it cools his CPU.
It just goes down into a PC that has the word bully written on it. Bully 2 written on it.
Kevin's back, Jack. Everybody stand back. All right, let's keep going here. A new Borderlands game is in development. Gearbox reveals. Big surprise.
Whoa, yes.
This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot. It's been nearly 5 years since Borderlands 3 released, and fans have been waiting to hear news about the next sequel. And since the Borderlands movie is out this week, gamers are once again looking for any word about the follow-up. The good news is that Gearbox Software has finally confirmed that the next game is in development. During an interview with Epic Games Store, which apparently does interviews, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford was specifically asked if the company was working on the sequel. Pitchford replied, "Of course we are. There's a moment where we're ready, and when we can and will announce something, because that's the moment to make a public promise. We're working on lots of Borderlands. We're working on lots of Brothers in Arms." Wait, what? Really? That was a more overt hint about Borderlands 4 than the previous update that Pitchford provided in July 2024, where he said that there are so many great things coming with Borderlands. Of course.
Hey man, your movie is complete ass. What do you have to say about that? We're making a new
game. Don't worry about that. Do you think he knows that the movie's bad?
No chance. I bet you he thinks this is. I think he's like, I'm waiting to win my Oscar for this.
Yep.
Where we're gonna win Oscars. We're gonna do crazy, numbers on this. It might do crazy numbers, but goddamn, I have not met a single human being on the planet Earth that's been like, good film.
Do you think there's a chance we get to like middle of next week and people are like, actually, it wasn't so bad? Do you think we get any sort of defense for this movie? It doesn't even feel like that.
No, I feel like this is one of those movies where even if you try and defend it, like people are just going to be like, "You're insane."
Yeah, you keep it to yourself.
You keep that shit to yourself. Don't tell people that. That's crazy.
Yeah, people will think less of you.
But you will definitely find it on Twitter. People on Twitter love being like, people are going to be farming for clicks, because that's how current Twitter works. Where it's like, you got to get, someone's going to be like, I genuinely think that this Borderlands movie is worthy of a, Oscar, or like, I think this is one of the greatest films ever made. And watch the clicks come in, watch the pennies come in, and by the time they're done, the rage will have amounted to $2, and that'll be it.
When you go do your BAFTAs thing, is it the games and the movies at the same thing, or do they have a separate thing for BAFTA games and a separate thing for BAFTA movies?
No, BAFTA has a separate team for games. Okay, and it's a very, very. Disclosure, I am a member of BAFTA, so I partake in this stuff, and also like I evangelize and talk about BAFTA for them, because it's an important part of like the British games industry and the global games industry. Right. But even without that, it is quite impressive how thorough they are in making sure the stuff that gets nominated and then also wins is like really, really well taken care of in terms of who speaks to it and that kind of stuff. So there's people from various corners of the industry. Usually when we do like deliberations, in a deliberation meeting, it'll be like someone like me who's on like the media side, but there'll be developers and writers and sound designers and like people who would never normally take part in any other video game kind of judging process for an award. But it's entirely just the games. There's sometimes crossover with films where you'll have people who you might see working on the film side popping up in like, you know, events and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's just specifically games.
So there's no chance that like if Borderlands won the BAFTA for like special effects that you would end up in a situation where you had to like give the trophy to Randy Pitchford or something?
I would honestly, if they said I had to do that, I would do it with glee. I would be so
I would love
happy.
to see it. I would love to see it.
I would be so happy. I would like, as I'm giving it to him, I would just whisper, "This thing sucks," and then give it to him. I'll just be like, "Do better."
We have such a story about that. I wish we could tell someday. Someday, everybody. Someday.
Yeah.
I would love
you know
to.
what? I'm excited for a new Borderlands game. Not excited. I retract that. Actually, I'm not excited about it. I am intrigued by it. I would love to know. I'm really excited to see what the writing style is for this one.
Yep.
Because that insufferable.
It's got to like adapt a little bit.
It can't. Like people are done with that.
Yep.
Like they are not gonna take Tiny Tina going just to be like annoying and fucking every meme possible, and like, oh god, I hope it's not.
I mean, I think
Borderlands writing is the worst outcome of Joss Whedon.
I think that Borderlands should still be a little obnoxious. That's the best. Like someone chat described it that way. Like they just got to evolve the obnoxiousness, right? It just needs to like be a new brand of that to a certain extent. Listen, a lot of people played that Tiny Tina game, and I never really talked to them, but they seem happy with it. So they could probably do this. They could probably pull it off. But you're right. For me personally, I probably would need to see a lot more evolution.
The thing is, like, they need to write for the TikTok generation now, and the TikTok generation is incredibly fickle.
Yeah,
and they move by the time you put that Borderlands game out, your skibbity toilet joke is gonna land flat on its face.
Yeah, by the time you make anytime I would make a reference to something I saw on TikTok on Twitter, that's like the equivalent of like when you would used to see something on Reddit and then a month later your mom would send you an email about it and be like, would forward you the email. Like that's what I'm doing now with the people on TikTok. So it happens fast. All right, let's move here. We're going to skip the story about the Take-Two's earnings. Basically, though, we kind of know where they're at. We talked about it a little bit. They do have like stuff like Civilization 7 coming, things like that, that will make them quite a bit of money. But in the meantime, they are still waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. All right, Doom plus Doom 2 is a great excuse to jump back into hell for free or for $10 if you don't already own it. This is from Kevin Purdy at Ars Technica. I have only one criticism of the definitive, newly enhanced versions of Doom and Doom 2 you could pick up now in a $10 package, or free as an upgrade if you already owned one of those two games. My gripe is that it's entirely your own fault when you get hit by enemies. On a PC, Xbox, or Xbox X or S, or PlayStation 5, you could play Doom at 120 frames per second at 4K. You are moving so ridiculously fast, speed skating across those marine bases and or hellscapes that the imps tossing fireballs at you feel like they're a parent gently coaxing their kids to catch a softball. This sounds
amazing.
This is really cool. Yes. So I do believe it is actually Night Dive that helped with these, along with id, obviously, and Machine Games seems like they might have done some work as well. Or is that might be the Quake version here. Let's see here. There's an entirely new episode. For another, it's a real bundle with both games, a huge number of classic add-on maps, including John Romero's Sigil, and an entirely new episode, Legacy of Rust, made by the folks from Night Dive, id Software, and Wolfenstein Autours Machine Games. They had previously done the same thing with Quake, so now they did this with Doom. That's pretty cool.
How nice of them to release this the moment you finish Daikatana.
Yeah. Listen, I am actually in the mood to be like, okay, give me the good John Romero, because I really have a soft spot for John Romero now, despite what he did to me with Daikatana. And so, yes, maybe I should go play some of this. Doom and Doom 2, great games. Having this definitive edition, fantastic. And it's pretty cool that
we should review these games, but act like this is the first time they've ever been released.
That's a good idea. I like that.
I think that would be pretty funny.
That'd be a good time. I would like that a lot. We just like do that like as a work during a whole like quick look kind of thing where it's like we're just like talk about, hey, the new game from id Software.
Yeah.
This is available now. Obviously, QuakeCon is happening. This is where they announced that. I like this style of sort of keeping these games fresh and updated, where it's like give it a little bit of love in terms of the polish, the definitive edition. That's great, but having a whole like new episode that people can play through that is completely fresh for everybody. That also is like just such a really good idea, and I hope it's a good use of like Machine Games' time. They did this with Quake, and my thought was like, okay, they did that with Quake because maybe they're going to be the ones to make a new Quake game. But now that they're doing this with Doom, it's like maybe they're just doing this kind of thing. I hope that while they're also making Indiana Jones, that this is a good use of their time. But I'll say that I get excited about it, and I'm glad that they keep kind of coming back to this well.
I do not know how there hasn't been a Doom Quake crossover game from Machine Games. Like Doomslayer enters Quake universe. Like, come on, that is like free money. Come on.
I would seriously like that quite a bit. Yeah, I think I don't remember much the story of Doom Eternal, where that left things off, but obviously the new Doom going back to medieval times or whatever, being medieval Doom. That is a really good idea, but that you could see how you just like instead of from Doom 2016 where you would go through those portals and play original Doom, like going through a portal in this Doom medieval. What's it called again? I can't remember what the name of the subtitle this new Doom one is.
Dark Ages.
Yeah, Doom the Dark Ages. Yeah,
something like it.
You could go through a portal there and you're like, oh, now it's a crossover with Quake. That would rule. Yeah. Yes. So.
Or like you're playing Doom and you just see like split second some fucking dude do a rocket jump. Just come by and you're like, what was that?
Right. A nail.
No idea where it was. Never explained ever again. Yeah. Just a little needle gun going past. You're like, oh shit. That was weird.
They have a lot of fun stuff that they could do with these properties. And there was that dark period there for a little bit for Doom between like 3 and when they eventually got 2016 out. But now they have a real strong grasp on what this brand is and like how to treat it right. And I hope that they just keep trying new ideas and don't get stuck in a rut. And it seems like that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Sega says its Gamescom lineup includes an unannounced game. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Sega has revealed its Gamescom 2024 lineup, including a previously unannounced game. The publisher will have 3 playable games at this year's show, but only 2 of them are known to the public. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations will be playable at the show, making its first playable appearance in Europe. Sega will also have a playable build of Atlas's Metaphor ReFantazio, which is also making its playable debut in Europe. However, it also notes that completing the lineup of playable titles on the Sega stand is an as-yet unannounced project. Sega says its Gamescom stand will also feature numerous photo opportunities. Sonic will be in attendance, so everyone can go meet their online or take their OC to go meet their boyfriend and all that stuff. I don't know. Any ideas of what you want Sega to be dropping? Because it's like I would start to try to guess, but I don't even really know where to begin with thinking like what this could be.
Oh, it could be. Do you think it's another one in the entry of like we're bringing old Sega games back? Because they have what Crazy Taxi in development.
Shinobi
is there new Streets of Rage?
Streets of Rage.
Golden Axe, I think. Is
Golden Axe. Yes.
But maybe it's one of those old school games, like old school franchise, like Virtua Fighter. They have Jet Set coming, right?
Yes, exactly. And there's rumors like that, and pretty much confirmed rumors that there are several more games in that series of, hey, we're bringing back old games that they're working on that they haven't announced yet. That would be cool. So if it's unannounced and it gets revealed here and then is playable, I would love to have a huge number of people get hands on with one of these games to see like what the quality level is.
What if it is the long-awaited sequel, Beta Protocol?
Okay, yeah, that seems inevitable, right? It's got to happen at some point.
Has to happen at some point. One of the greatest games of all time.
What's the one? What's the biggest, most insane one? Someone in chat just said Skies of Arcadia 2. Like that would blow up the internet in a very small corner.
Right,
very small corner. Very small corner would actually explode.
Yeah,
that's right.
I don't know. Like other than like trying to think of what it is in their old school kind of oeuvre that they might have, but I imagine it might be like some of their early 16-bit days, one of those franchises coming back. Jan keeps saying Vector Man.
He does keep saying Vector Man. We try to
Man.
ignore him, but I think we have to just acknowledge it and move on.
Yeah.
Did you ever
play a game called Sunset Riders? Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
maybe it's called something else somewhere else.
No, Sunset Riders is a fantastic game. Absolutely, yeah. Sunset.
Make another one of those. Who made that game?
Was that Sega? That's Konami.
Damn,
Konami,
yes. See it. Man, that ain't never happened.
That ain't never happened. I love Sunset Riders. Damn. I think it's the first one, or one of the first ones you mentioned, Virtua Fighter. I think it's time. It's time. I would love to see Virtua Fighter come back, and that's one that like is kind of in between. Maybe one of those. Oh, it's an old game coming back, but it's like, fighting games are a going concern more now than they have been in a very long time. And I think them being like, no, this is Virtua Fighter, it's back, and we're giving you a way to play it. That would be cool. It could even be like a redux of a previous Virtua Fighter, but updated and with better online netcode. I would take that. Yeah, I think it'd probably be something like that.
They've done that a couple times now as well. So
yeah, and there were some rumors that they might do it again. So yeah, I would love to see that. All right, so let's see here. Sony plans to optimize overall structure at Bungie following Destiny layoffs. This is from Stephen T. Wright at GameSpot. This is basically kind of them finally coming out at Sony and confirming exactly what's going down. It is in line with a lot of the stuff we talked about in previous weeks and that we've talked about in other reports. Destiny 2 fans are still reeling from the news that developer Bungie laid off around 220 people in July, or roughly 17% of its workforce. Speaking on an earnings call, Sony president Hiroki Totoki discussed the Destiny Studios restructure in greater detail, stating that it came from a desire to optimize overall studio structure. Per a report of the call posted to social media, Totoki said that the back office functions of Bungie will be integrated into other Sony studios, and that the studio's resources will be focused on Destiny 2 and the Marathon reboot. His comments would seem to indicate that Sony is taking a more active role in the studio's direction, making it a more integrated part of the existing constellation of SIE studios, which is exactly what's happening. This isn't the first time that Totoki has expressed a desire to see improvement from Bungie. Back in February, he said during a financial results call via VGC that while he was impressed with Bungie's creativity and knowledge of live service, he felt that the company needed to improve some areas of its business, including use of business expenses and accountability for development timelines. This just feels like, hey, the rubbers met the road with the whole Sony wants you to cost less, basically, and now you haven't cost less and you haven't met all of your milestones. So Sony's going to come in there and sort of strip you down and make you more streamlined. But that also means that, anything you were working on other than Destiny 2 updates and Marathon are not going to be going concerns anymore themselves. Other than that mobile game that they were working on with a new studio inside of Bungie, that's getting moved over to Sony Interactive Entertainment, PlayStation Studios, and will continue over there. This mostly is like putting a bow on this story, Tam, for now. What do you think? Like, how are you feeling about all this now that maybe the dust has settled a little bit?
I mean, it's not great. Kind of felt inevitable once the acquisition happened. I feel like even if Destiny had performed well, there was going to be an element of streamlining the overall structure and optimizing it regardless. That's just how it's going to happen. Wasn't Bungie like over 1,000 people or something like that?
Over 1,000 people, and always described to me, and this is not just to me, but we've seen this elsewhere, very generous pay packages. Like it was great that people were really well compensated for working at Bungie. It's like it just kind of seems like it got a little out of hand once they had too many people.
Yeah, and Sony's the kind of company that comes along and is like, we're gonna cut some corners here and strip the fat and as best as we can to make the whole operation a bit more lean. Considering that they were effectively making one game for a bunch of that, that's a rough sell. And I feel like it feels like they never had a shot. Like this was going to happen. This optimization was inevitable, and now it's happening, and it seems quite severe. The issue that is more concerning to me as someone who likes Bungie and Bungie's games is what this does to the identity of the studio, which is something that a lot of people have been talking about, which up until now, at least Bungie had some control over it. I'm sure that the internal politics of 1,000 people working on a video game IP meant that the identity was being pulled in a bunch of different directions and everyone had their own ideas for them. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it was Bungie in charge of what that could be, when all was said and done. That is no longer the case. This is also a moment where Sony is fully taking away the autonomy of that studio. And now Bungie becomes and is whatever Sony says it is and tells it to be, which is a major moment in the history of Bungie and video games as a whole, because let's not forget, this is the studio that redefined video games in a major, major way multiple times. The first time with, Halo. And I don't know if some of the people in this chat, I assume most people here were around during the Halo days, but it's hard to overstate how much of a iron grip Halo had on the video game world. And most first-person shooters that exist in the way that they do right now owe a debt to Halo and the multiplayer for that game. So that was a major, major influential moment for video games that will be felt until probably the end of time. No one's going to reinvent console shooters in the way that they did. And then the second time was Bungie doing Destiny, right? Like Destiny is in many ways the progenitor and the creator of the games as a service model.
Yes, it is.
Which again defines the modern landscape of video games. So those are things that Bungie accomplished in between making good games. Destiny was a good game. It had its ups and downs and its flaws, and Destiny 2, in a similar way, had some issues, but both of them are undoubtedly excellent video game experiences. But, that is so unlikely to happen again now. Like, firstly, because, it's hard to, strike lightning 3 times or whatever it may be. But now with Sony in kind of like holding the reins of the studio, that's not going to happen. Like if Bungie comes along and says, hey, we got this crazy idea to reinvent the way we play video games, do you think Sony's going to be like, hell yeah, brother, let's do this?
Not right now. No way.
No, they're going to be like, oh, hell no. Make that game as a service title. If it sucks, I'm going to stab you. And if it's good, I'm going to stab you a little lighter.
Yep. And that is Sony's reaction, but that is Sony's reaction to the basically the deal that Pete Parsons put together for Bungie's acquisition. So it does go back to him, like putting this company in a situation where they were going to end up here, sort of, no matter what. As you started off by saying that, like no matter what, they felt like they were going to end up here, and here we are. There's also the question of 220 people laid off in this round. People laid off last time, of course, in October, so not that long ago. Honestly, it's all just one big thing. So just a huge portion of the team has been cut. Then another 150 people in this round are moving from Bungie to Sony Interactive Entertainment. And, the way they, I haven't heard a ton, but the way I've heard is like, that is still a very nebulous thing. There's a lot of uncertainty. People still don't have great answers. And that goes for the people moving from Bungie to Sony Interactive Entertainment. It also goes for the future of Bungie itself. Like,
yeah.
They talk about these things. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the concern for me is the future of Bungie currently. It feels very, very fragile because it's hinging on a business model that the effectiveness will be proved by other games that come before it in Sony's stable. Like Marathon, what happens to Marathon will in some part be defined by how Concord performs and the response to it, because that's how these companies work. If Concord comes out and it's shits the bed completely and no one plays it, Sony is going to step back and look at every other game.
Going to be less faith in the whole process.
Vaguely like Concord. And Marathon is, from what we've heard, very similar in objective, and maybe it's not exactly because this was supposed to be like a survival shooter or one of those types of
extraction shooter, right?
Extraction shooter. It's not the same, but it's still the business behind it is pointed in that same direction.
Yes.
So if Concord flops, and it's a big enough flop that it like raises eyebrows in Sony, which it would do, Bungie is now at the mercy of, the performance of other games on its way.
There's just less of a cushion there for him, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a situation that studio is used to or has been in before. They've always
Yeah.
been the golden child, and they've always had the faith of people investing in them. Whether that is, was it Activision that published Halo originally?
Not
It was,
Halo,
right?
Destiny, yes.
Not Halo, Destiny.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. So whether it's that, even in that era, like Activision gave them benefit of the doubt in a lot of ways because they're Bungie. They at this stage don't have that anymore, so it's a very precarious place to be in that I do not envy at all. And there's going to be more cuts leading up to the release
be.
of Marathon for sure. Like,
Well, I
that's
mean,
just how
if the Destiny 2 new plan of smaller content packs twice a year, if fans don't show up for that, there definitely will be cuts. If Marathon doesn't perform, there definitely will be cuts. If both those things work out perfectly, maybe they start working on something exciting and new like a Destiny 3. That is a really big maybe.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, go ahead.
It's sad because they have to basically reestablish themselves as a top tier bankable studio before they can get the goodwill to try and do new IP and that kind of stuff. Because right now, this is not their primary business model. It's not their primary kind of bread and butter. Their primary bread and butter is cinematic single player games, which are being made by one, and the golden children for that are Naughty Dog, but to a bigger extent, Insomniac.
Mhm.
Like you are now playing in a completely new genre where you not only have to prove that your game is good, you have to prove that your game is good enough to sustain that business model, and then you have to make a case for making a brand new IP and to be treated on the level as of a Insomniac or even a Sucker Punch.
Mm-hmm. And it's ironic that I think what led us down this path as an industry was this promise that things will be more steady, they'll be more predictable. Live service means a regular amount of revenue coming in each month. But I think what we found is that these companies never are satisfied. So even like when Destiny is a success, like Activision's like, oh, can you just make a new video game? Actually, can you make a Destiny 2? Can you make a Destiny 3? And Bungie's like, no, the whole point was to not have to do that all the time. And it's like the industry sort of craving going back to, let's spend 4, 5, 6 years making a big game and just putting out that and then they really also wanting both, right? And then they also want the live service revenue and not realizing how that is so much more complicated and would take so much more time trying to do both at the same time. It's like, okay, yeah, the industry just is once again forcing itself into a corner where it hates where it's at, even though it's bigger than ever and everything did work out the way everyone wanted it to, but it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, just a handful more headlines to get to on this Dregs Day, everybody, right after this. All right, we are back. Let's hit this one real quick. Max Payne 1 and 2 remake are in full production, or I guess it is in full production. It's like one thing, I guess. And then Control 2 is now in a playable state. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Remedy Entertainment has provided updates on several of its upcoming titles, including Max Payne 1 and 2 remake, Control 2, and Condor. According to a developer, Control 2 has progressed to the production readiness stage. The game is now playable as the team reaches an important milestone in the game's development. The development team is working towards scaling up the production of the project. Remedy says Max Payne 1 and 2 remake, which Remedy is working on as a co-production with Rockstar, has also progressed from production readiness to full production stage. According to Remedy, the team is currently working towards a version of the game that is playable from beginning to end. Remedy also provided an update on its project codenamed Condor. The development team has worked on multiple maps and different mission types, and we have organized a growing amount of internal, limited, external playtesting for feature validation and feedback, the developer said. The busiest studio in gaming stays busy, but they looks like they continue progressing on all these projects. I always I'm like standing back being like, man, they seem like they're working on a lot. I'm expecting the next update to be like, listen, we're putting this to the side. But it's always like, no, everything's going pretty well. Control 2, progressing. Max Payne 1 and 2 remake, progressing. Even Condor, yeah, we're making strides over there. Do you think this studio can keep juggling all of these projects?
I mean, I think they can. It's hard to say really because it's unclear the level of scope that these games are in. Like we can say, we can think, they're in full production. That means major teams, but Remedy as a studio isn't very big to
It's not
begin
massive,
with.
yeah.
Like, yeah, the most impressive thing about Remedy is they make games that look and feel like they were made by 1,000 people, but were made by considerably fewer people. So I think that what ultimately will define how they kind of approach this is how shrewd and how smart they are with resource movement and management. And from what I can tell, they're pretty good at it. Like, I don't know how big the Max Payne 1-2 team is, but I imagine it's not as big as the Control team currently is, considering
Right.
Control is next up on the docket, I imagine. But there's got to be like I mean, there always is kind of like a scaling system here. And I think that more importantly, the studio is small enough and I think smart enough to know not to overreach, and also smart enough to adjust when they feel like they need to. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a case of like in a situation where they feel like they're up against it and can't really control it, instead of being like, oh, we're just going to hire a crazy amount of people to help us, they shift their kind of priorities a bit to be like, okay, let's focus on Control right now and keep a smaller crew working on Condor or whatever it may be. I mean, like, that's not to say that they won't like increase staffing, but generally I feel like studios in Europe are less about that life, especially like actual Europe. They're less about like, let's staff up and then lay off a bunch of people. I don't hear much of that coming from studios in Europe.
I mean, labor laws would probably make that more complicated. I don't know.
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Labor laws would make that incredibly difficult. And it's the same with Japanese devs, right?
Yes.
They don't do that system where it's like, we'll have you in for a project and then get rid of you the moment the project is done. So I feel like they need to be a little smarter with how they portion their resources.
Yep.
So is it sustainable? On paper, no. But when you consider the way that Remedy operates, the kind of guidelines they have to operate within legally, and just their general approach to treating their developers and their projects properly, as good as they can, I think that it is sustainable because they hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, will do the right thing in situations where they have to reconsider how they're approaching this stuff.
Yep. They also mentioned here in this story, Alan Wake 2 is, just now kind of recouping most of its development and marketing costs, which, would be a lot of money. Alan Wake 2, a game that did do very well critically. There was some concern that it didn't do especially well commercially right out of the gate. Part of that, I always think, is maybe related to not being on Steam. Obviously Epic published the game, so that is a big part of that. Not having a physical version, right? There was also that case, right? It didn't have a physical version in stores for retail. That also was going to hurt it. So the fact that they are still kind of getting to that milestone, despite those disadvantages, is a good sign. And I am a believer that they can really sort of brute force their way into making this franchise bigger and bigger each time. And if they get through all these, and then if they were to come back to an Alan Wake 3, I think that there would have been a growing sort of word of mouth campaign among fans for Alan Wake that will make that next one much bigger, massive. And if they have some advantages in their corner at that point, I think they could really cash in on it at that time. And in the meantime, the fact that they are diversifying and doing a bunch of different things is, I think, a good sign and a good thing.
Yeah, and also like the quality of their games is probably, you would hope, helping them make these partnership and agreements and with other companies. Like, I imagine, like, if Alan Wake 2 net ends up performing well for Epic would be like, yeah, we'll sign up to do another one of these, like, with you guys. I mean, presumably that's why Rockstar got involved with Max Payne 1 and 2. They looked at what Remedy is capable of and looked at what it results in, and they're probably like, yeah, this is worth it. Like, they're putting out bangers and they're not like doing ridiculous things with billions of dollars. So let's give it a go.
Final story here. Borderlands movie is predicted to make a record loss. This is from Marcus Pearson at Game Reactor. It has been a long and arduous climb for the Borderlands movie, whose production has been fraught with problems from rewrites to reshoots and delays. It hasn't been helped by the fact that those who were given the opportunity to see the movie before the premiere mostly had negative feedback to give. Reviews have generally not been kind either, and many industry experts predict that the movie will be a huge loss for the studio. That's because it cost a lot of money to shoot the film, $100 million to be exact, and in the US, early figures suggest that ticket sales will bring in around 13 to 18 million at most during the opening weekend. Because with its huge production costs, Borderlands needs to make close to $200 to $300 million to avoid being a flop. And I will say that I was watching the USA basketball game, defeat Serbia yesterday.
That was a banger, wasn't it?
How fucking good was that? I was losing my mind. I was like,
my boy, the chef cooking.
Yep.
Holy moly.
Everyone like just kind of had their best game so far. Especially
Joel Embiid finally doing something with his fucking
and then KD sort of like in all of the most crucial moments putting the game on his back. I was like, wow, KD still got it.
And then KD went on Twitter at 5 a.m. and was fucking tweeting at people being like, yeah, my man is a troll and I love him so
absolutely
much.
Yes, I love it. It was a great game. But I was watching it.
Have you ever seen that tweet from Kevin Durant, which is why I love him so much, where he just tweeted, Scarlett Johansson, I will drink your bath water. Just nothing else.
Yes, I have, and I think about it a lot.
Incredible moment.
Anyway, during this like big game that had to be one of the highest rated things that the Olympics is going to have so far, there was several commercials for the Borderlands movie, and then I was watching something primetime later last night. I think I was watching SportsCenter, and I saw some Borderlands commercials. That's a lot of money. That's a big marketing budget. So they are trying to make this thing happen, but I think what they're doing is actually digging a bigger hole for this movie that is, by all accounts, not just not very good, but actively bad in a lot of ways. And people described it as sad and pathetic, which is just not going to get anyone out of their homes and into the theaters.
I mean, like the worst part of this probably is, like you said, the long-term impact is if you keep shoveling money into this and trying to force your way into a success or some sort of, rising the metric of, ticket sales or whatever, just to have a thing where you can say, actually, we sold this much. And the movie is as bad as it seems to be, you are killing outright any future potential to make Borderlands exist as a transmedia franchise or property. Like I would be, after like the flurry of adverts, people who go to watch this saying this is dog shit, you will never get anyone being like, yeah, we'll take another Borderlands movie or a TV show. Like it's not happening. Like it's crazy. And this is one of those examples of, it feels like a very like 2000s, even 90s era attitude towards making a movie around a video game where it didn't need to be made. People probably didn't want it to be made, but there were just enough people who wanted to push this through. Probably Randy Pitchford
wanted to be Kevin Hart.
It happen. Yeah, and to make it happen. And I'm not being rude, but like, I think a considerable number of people could have told you day one, this is not going to do well. Yep. Like this seems like it's a mess. Like you have all the pieces to make a shit movie lined up. Like it's impressive.
And here we are.
I'm not being rude, but like, why is Cate Blanchett in this movie? Like,
it's weird.
She's trying her best, bless her. But like, I don't see that and go, oh shit, this is a real deal movie. They got Cate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis. I see that and go, oh, they gave them a lot of money, which means they are not checked in for this movie, dog.
That's
like,
what it feels
is out. Like, it is. Congratulations to the cast of Borderlands for getting that bag as quickly as possible. Jack Black, that story of him being like, I ain't never seen those fucking people. I have never been on that set. I rolled up to a recording studio, did my Jack Black thing, and walked away. Congrats to you. You finessed Randy Pitchford in a way that no one...
Randy finessed
Pitchford
himself.
Has never pulled off a magic trick that good in his life. He got finessed. Kevin Hart and Jack Black made millions disappear before his very eyes. And he just had no idea. He's still trying to figure out how that works.
And there will be no prestige. There will be no, and here's the money.
There's no prestige. Well done to you guys. Yep. I respect it. Good job.
And Take-Two boss in that earnings call we talked about earlier was like, just give it a chance. Give the movie a chance. And I don't know if it's a good idea to be like, go watch it, because that doesn't feel like that's going to help this movie. Telling people to actually watch it, it feels like people are going to tell their friends, that was a waste of money. Please don't do that. Don't do what I did.
When you open the fridge and you see that your carton of milk is out of date, just give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
You never know.
Yeah,
you never
just
know.
stick your nose right in there and get the milk particles right on it and see how you feel.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh boy. All right, that does it for the headlines, everybody. We got a poll question from yesterday. Let's see here. Oh, and it's related. Are you going to see the Borderlands movie this weekend? 95% have said no. 5% have said yes. I voted yes because Jan said we're going to talk about it. So I think that'd be a good BCR next week. Maybe we can even record it earlier in the week or something. So I'm going to try to see this movie maybe even tonight.
This is the kind of movie that makes me think about re-downloading BitTorrent.
Yeah,
clients.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind actually seeing a cam of this. Yeah,
yeah.
That might be the ideal way to watch it. Actually, DVD
Except
you find
I've
on the
never done
street.
anything illegal now.
Well, yeah, you never. I'll tell you what it's like, and even that might be
Yeah,
too much for
of
you to
course.
hear. Your
Yeah,
virgin ears.
Yeah.
All right, that's that poll question. We have a new poll question coming up in a second that we'll get to for next week and all that stuff. But in the meantime, Tam, let's tell people where they can find you on the internet, what we have going on, all that good stuff.
You can find us. You can find me at Tamoor H, and I'm everywhere there. I'm going to be Twitch streaming soon. I keep saying it, but I will get to it. We have UPF coming later today, which is have we said what it's going to be?
Yeah, Nintendo Switch Sports
Nintendo
Olympics.
Switch Sports, yeah. I will be slightly late to that because, wouldn't you know it, a couple of people have decided they want to put some meetings on my calendar and don't care about when other things I'm doing. So,
Weird.
You hate to see that, but that will be fun. We're recording a Jeff's next week. It's the week before Gamescom. Gamescom's going to be fun.
Gamescom's going to pop off. Yeah, if you see Tam there, say hi to him for me.
Say hello. We'll have a bunch of us there. Jan's going to be there. We're going to be having a good time. We're going to record some videos. We're going to record like a travelogue, which maybe might come out. I feel like our travelogue publishing hit rate is not great, but
we'll do our best. We'll send it. We'll just send it to Sean and tell him to go do stuff. Yeah. Like, wait, what? I have other jobs.
Maybe that's the way to do it. Inshallah, train vlog will one day come out. Don't worry about it.
Oh, listen. I've seen it. Don't worry about it. I've seen the train.
You know what? We were talking about this the other day. I can't remember who with, and I can't with 100% certainty tell you whether the train vlog came out or not, because I remember watching something where I was in a train with Lucy and Jan, but I can't remember if that was the train vlog and I just missed it, or if it was like another video where Jan like gaslit us. And
that was Jan incepting you, I think, a little bit. Yeah,
a scene from a train vlog, which I respect. I love it.
Oh, of course, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a lot of stuff happening. We'll also probably have a presence at PAX West that's getting figured out as well. So a lot of fun stuff coming up. Also, a lot of games starting to come out. We'll do our best to keep on top of all the coverage. Next week, you can expect a mostly normal week, except for we won't have Blight Club. But Daikatana's done. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm free. It feels good. Oh boy, it feels good. All right, new poll question: have you ever been to a gaming convention like PAX or Gamescom, etc.? Yes or no, excuse me. We will discuss the results of that on Game S Mornings on Monday on Giant Bomb. Once again, speaking of Giant Bomb, if you're here, should stick around not too long from now. I guess after Jan gets back from going to Target to get new Joy-Cons, because he needs to do that, we'll start the game, or we'll start a UPF. No BCR today because we did a Power Bombcast this week, so we're going to take a little bit easy. Tam, one more thing from you, please.
I have an announcement I would like to make. I have begun a new journey. Some may describe it as a midlife crisis.
Nah.
Okay.
I'm sure that's not accurate.
I have started purchasing cards.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
Are you okay?
I am getting into the One Piece trading card game.
Oh, hell yes. Okay. So
okay.
A true midlife crisis. Hell yes. Let's fucking go.
I am getting in. I have heard things about this One Piece trading card game. I had a day where the One Piece
Chad is
trading
so worried
card
about
game
you.
Came up like 4 times in one day, just unprompted.
Oh, so the universe is getting you into it.
This is a sign. And I was like, I love One Piece. I've been One Piece since I was a young boy. So this feels like the right next step. And I went on YouTube, and people are popping off about how much fun this One Piece is, like competitive stuff. And now, let me tell you, I've spent probably too much money. Sight unseen. I have got starter decks coming. I have booster packs
I was going
coming.
to ask. Okay, so we're doing starter packs and booster packs. You're not doing the Turbo Sean method, which is he just only buys the cards he wants. You want some of that thrill of the chase, huh?
I need the kind of like the surprise.
You need the
element of it.
dopamine. Let's be clear about what's happening here.
I need the dopamine.
You need your brain
So
to feel
if there's-
ticklish.
If there's any One Piece TCG players, fans in the community, just at me on Twitter or Discord or whatever, and we'll talk.
Well, good luck to you on this new endeavor. I'm worried, but I believe that you have the strength to see this through.
I'm gonna be the king of the pirates in trading card form. Okay,
that's what I want to hear. You've always been the king of the pirates to me. Not illegal pirates. I've never done anything illegal, but still the king. And just like everybody in the audience is a king and a queen to me, you're the best audience in gaming. Tam, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
let's do it. I love it.
We'll try and make it happen again next week. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. Where's my mouse cursor?